Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, Base Boxing Basement at Triple B. Doing a daily video. Yeah, remember to hit the like, please, subscribers, and more, because this gives us some defense against the haterism. Anyway, we're talking about Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber, Deontay, who's announced his comeback fight. Like, as if anyone's that excited. You know what I'm saying? As if anyone's that excited. The guy he's fighting is some guy called Tyrrell Herndon. And, allegedly they met a few years ago, and they're going, oh, yeah, I always wanted to fight Wilder. It's a dream come true. He's my hero. I'm surprised it didn't come out with the other cliches. We're going to make history. I'm sick of these pathetic cliches they roll out all the time. Oh, we're making history tonight and all this kind of stuff. You know, why? Because you're the first woman bum fighter to fight for a bum championship and blah, blah. You know, it's pathetic, man, the way they roll these cliches out. But, yeah, let's just look at the bronze bummer, you know, his recent form. I mean, he was an exciting fighter. There's no doubt about it. You know, he's got 43 wins, 42 KOs. That's a massive KO ratio, right? The only guy to go the distance with him was Berman Stiven, I think. I'm right in saying that. He later got ironed out in a round. Berman Stiven, though, remains one of the worst heavyweight champions ever, I think he won it, right? I don't care. Yeah, that's right. He did win it. That's who Wilder won the title off. He defended against Eric Molina, the drummer boy, who seems to lose to any top opponent. Johan Duhaupas, a sort of European-level French dude, 11 rounds. Spilka, a very chinny Polish guy, was outboxing him till he got chinned. Areola, he stopped in 8. I mean, it's okay. He hasn't got the worst resume. Luis Ortiz is probably his best win, who he beat twice by KO. But, his career, I mean, it's flattered to deceive in the sense that, he was the big American hope. And, yeah, he was exciting to iron people out. Amazingly, considering his style as a pro, he won a bronze medal in the Olympics. He wasn't particularly a puncher, He wasn't particularly a puncher in the amateurs. I mean, it's hard to be a puncher in the amateurs when you've only got 3 rounds or whatever, or 4 rounds depending, and you've got gloves with loads of foam in the knuckle area. In the old days you get a lot more stoppages in the amateurs. But anyway, the bronze bomber. So the bronze bomber went pro, and some of his early fights were just terrible. Everyone was going, he's got to be chinny. He's got to be chinny because why are they protecting him so much? And he's been chinned a few times. He's been put over. Look at this fight. Look at this one fight from the beginning, right? This is crazy. This is embarrassing. Look at this fat pig he's fighting. I mean, that is truly pathetic, man. That guy, put him over. I don't even think the ref counted it, but he clearly put him over. This huge fat pig. He was fighting rubbish for years. But he was knocking them out in a round, right? But there's a lot of speculation about this. Why did he suddenly become a deadly puncher? Well, you could say, it's the pros, smaller gloves, puncher's gloves, and he's throwing full power into it. He's trying to knock everyone out instead of box. I've seen him on the pads, and he sometimes he doesn't look bad, but when he goes in there, like he said, he flips into the bronze bomber, and he just wants to tear a man's head off. He said he wanted a body, didn't he? Well, he almost became a body when Zhilei Zhang flattened him, and when Tyson Fury flattened him. But he's been put over. Apparently, he was put over by Harold Sconier, and there's no He's a journeyman. There's no footage that exists of this, but apparently he didn't even beat the 10 count, but they let him carry on. He eventually won in the 4th round, and Harold Scornier had like 17 wins and 20 losses at the time. So we everyone always thought Wilder would get chinned, but he showed a lot of heart. Maybe he had a good physician, with a PED physician, but we got to look at it now. He's almost 40. I think he's going to be 40 by the time this fight happens, which is in June in Wichita, right? Kansas. So in the middle of, nowhere. He's not fighting in Las Vegas anymore, right? He's not fighting in Riyadh anymore. So, also, if you look at his record, so he's had 1 win in 5.5 years. Think about that. And in that time, he's been KO'd 3 times. Twice by the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. Once by Zhale Zhang, which was an excellent knockout. Zhale ran his huge body across to whack out Wilder. Wilder was like turning to complain to the referee and then got whacked out. He also lost every round against Joseph Parker. So it's not good. His only win was against Robert Helenius, who's not a bum, but, you could see with him, his heart was no longer really in boxing. They're mates, apparently, and he got ironed out in the round. Some people say it was fake. I don't necessarily believe that. The thing is about Wilder, he has got power. He has got a lot of power. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Wilder has had numerous surgeries on his hands and his forearm, his right hand, and they've inserted titanium rods and plates, right, in his forearm and hands. Now think about that, man. Think about that for a minute. Maybe that's why he's got so much power suddenly, because he's got literal titanium rods in his forearm. I mean, of course it's going to give you extra punching power. Yeah, it should have been investigated. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to. I mean, if I say, right, I got a bad hand, please, I got bad forearms and hands, please insert some titanium rods into my arm. Of course it's going to make you punch harder. It's one of those things, okay, with boxing, because there's so much money, they'll let you get away with anything. But, he's obviously lost his confidence, getting ironed out twice by Tyson Fury and Zhale Zhang and Joseph Parker. He's got to go back to the hood. And say, I got beaten up twice by a fat white guy, and then a fat Chinese guy ironed me out as well. You know what I mean? But the other thing is, he did. I think he got stopped as well as an amateur by Evgeny Romanov, who can punch, but he's not. It was an amateur style stoppage, but he definitely got badly hurt by Romanov. So he's got heart, but he is chinny. There's no doubt about it. He is chinny, and now he's 40, almost 40. So what's he going to do now? Well, he's going to do nothing in boxing. But, he's still got a name. I mean, my advice to him would be to retire. He must have made a lot of money. He's had a lot of big fights. I don't like to see these fights carry on too long. You know what I mean? What's his best win? I don't know, man. Luis Ortiz, I guess. But, there's a lot of rumors about Ortiz's age. Some people say, he was 10 years older than what he claimed, which made him almost 50 when he fought Wilder. But and Zhale Zhang was 39 when he knocked him out. Knocked out Wilder. So let's look at this Tyrell Anthony Herndon. So Tyrell is from San Antonio. He's got a decent enough record on first look. 24 wins, 15 KOs. Only 5 losses, but they all by KO. So they're basically lying, they're thinking this guy's chinny, He's 37 himself. He's no spring chicken. He's never had a good payday. His biggest fight was against Richard Torres Jr. In his 7th fight, Torres' 7th fight, he ironed him out in 2 rounds. He's come back with with 3 wins, but not against anyone any good, and 2 are split decisions. So Tyrell has never really beaten anyone of any value. And this is the weird thing, right? If you he got disqualified against Brandon Glanton, who's fighting Chris Billam-Smith soon. But also, I noticed on his record, he has 3 fights against a guy called Corey Barlow. That's right, Corey Barlow, whose record at the moment stands at 3 wins, 7 KOs, and 2 draws. Although he's never been stopped, right? And Corey, right? Corey had his debut against Tyrrell Herndon, and he lost a unanimous decision. And then he had, about a year later, another fight against Tyrell. He lost on majority decision. However, in their 3rd fight of the trilogy, Corey knocked Tyrell out in the 1st round. This is a guy with 3 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws, knocked out Tyrell. So well done, Corey. I'm not going to talk about whether you got a big Corey. That's Tyson Fury's business. So that's, what else? F.A. Jagba knocked him out in a round. Yeah, like I said, Richard Torres Jr. knocked him out. Corey knocked him out in a round. So they basically line him up to get knocked out. But, he'll probably get a half-decent payday. The weird thing about, if you look at Tyrell's amateur career, I wanted to see if he had an amateur career. He's got these guys that they don't even have their full names. He fought a guy called D Smokes 3 times. That's all. There's no other information on this guy, just D Smokes. Not even his first time. And he won 2 and lost 1 to D Smokes. And he then fought B Binns and W Johnson and M Marshall. It's starting to look like it's a fake. V Hurst, A Higgins. If you look at his amateur record, they're all guys that they haven't even got their full names. It looks like a made up record. He did actually fight Cam F. Awesome, who was a real good amateur for ages. His real name's Lenroy Thompson, but he's known as Cam F. Awesome, and never went pro. He had almost 200 amateur fights, so he must have fought at some level. I also noticed he fought a guy called Joshua Yellow Owl, who has an amateur record, well, according to BoxRec, of 0 wins and 7 losses. Joshua Yellow Owl. I mean, have they made this up? I mean, it could be a native name, right? They often have these names like this. But there's all these guys that are unknown, or don't have their full names. It's quite weird. So his amateur record is 19-6, Tyrell, although it seems very dodgy to me. Well, I mean, the question is, can Deontay Wilder knock out Tyrell, right, quicker than Richard Torres? Or quicker than Corey Barlow, which was, just 2 minutes 59 in the 1st round. Tyrell got knocked out by Corey. So, and F.A. Jagba knocked him out in 129. He's obviously chinny. Wilder, has he lost his confidence? That's the question. And but with those metal titanium plates in his arm, if he unleashes them, he should be able to knock out a bum like Tyrell Herndon. Like I said, he's only had 1 win in 5.5 years and KO'd 3 times. I don't know why he's fighting on. No one's interested, which is why it's in Wichita, Kansas. And there's no undercard announced yet. If all these fighters, man, they go on too long and it's difficult because they don't want to lose the limelight. They think there's one more payday in them. But it's tragic to see these guys carry on too long. He's not the first, nor will he be the last to carry on. But he should have enough to knock out Herndon. And with a titanium in his arm, he should knock him out. He could knock him out in a round. Corey did it. Corey knocked him out in a round. But he seemed gun-shy against Joseph Parker. He seemed gun-shy against Zhale Zhang, although Zhale just beat him up, to be honest. But he seemed especially gun-shy against Parker. But, he should just come through this. in a few rounds. If he doesn't KO him within the first 3 rounds, then, forget about it. Forget about it.